Look at this chart showing viewing habits over time. For the last decade, a clear trend has emerged. Audiences are spending less time watching traditional television and more time on social platforms. Gone are the days when marketers could reach a mass audience with a single TV ad. Now, people are spread all over, from TikTok and Instagram and YouTube to niche blogs and Twitch streams. This fragmented landscape may seem like a problem, but for small and medium-sized businesses, it actually opens the door to more targeted ways to connect with your ideal customers. It's not about who has the biggest budget anymore. Instead, it's about finding the right influencers to advocate for your product. That's right, I'm talking about influencer marketing. HubSpot offers a comprehensive guide that'll give you everything you need to launch an influencer campaign. But today, I'm going to show you where beginner marketers go wrong and the secrets that the pros know that make their partnerships with influencers so successful. To start, beginner marketers tend to equate an influencer's follower count with their potential for success. The more followers, the better, right? Not exactly. The pros understand that while macro influencers have their place, the most effective strategies involve collaborating with influencers in a specific niche. These micro influencers may have fewer than 50,000 followers, but the engagement and conversion of their followers are typically higher, up to 60% higher engagement than macro influencers. Not only do these influencers have stronger ties to more specific audiences, they're also more cost-effective, like 10 times cheaper. So, choosing who to work with is more nuanced than counting followers. You can ask all sorts of questions, but at a high level, you need to look for this. I'll be using an example of a spatula brand, which will explain the writing on this board. 1. Audience match. Is the influencer's audience the same as your target customer? 2. Content relevance. Does the influencer create content that's relevant to your brand? 3. Marketing potential. Can the influencer deliver on your marketing goals? And 4. Tone value alignment. Are their values aligned with your brand values? Last one might seem trivial, but think about it. What if a children's toy company hired an MMA fighter to promote cuddly stuffed animals? It just feels off. Once you know the kind of influencers you want to represent your brand, how do you actually find them? The truth is, if you don't know what you're doing, it's really time-consuming, and it's probably why so many marketers are drawn to big follower accounts. It's just easier to find. Luckily, the pros have a number of tools to speed up the search process. Most of these are databases with countless creators that you can filter using specific search criteria. Even better, there's built-in analytics so you can see useful engagement metrics like average shares per post. Another simple trick the pros use is to check who is engaging with their brand on different platforms. This allows them to find creators who genuinely like what they're doing and then turn that into a partnership. I also have to talk briefly about AI because it is actually a helpful tool for finding influencers. With a well-written prompt, you can quickly identify influencers that fit your brand. After completing your search, it's time to reach out and see who might be interested in collaborating. Beginner marketers can be a little hasty in this outreach. One quick glance at the influencer's profile and they're already hitting send on an email. And this is what that email looks like. For comparison, here's what a pro would send. Let's break down the key differences. Number 1, the subject line for the pro isn't vague. It's personalized to the influencer while also mentioning the brand. This helps the message stand out in what could be a crowded inbox. Number 2, the beginner jumps right to the pitch, while the pro takes the time to share what drew them to the influencer's work. This shows the influencer that this marketer cares about what they do and likely has a solid vision for the partnership. And number 3, the pro doesn't just pitch free samples. Believe me, these influencers have enough free samples. The pro pitches the brand and why they think a collaboration is a good fit for both. This promises a partnership that'll be mutually beneficial and positions the brand and influencer as equals, which is a good sign for a potential partnership. Lastly, number 4, the beginner provides no context as to what they want the influencer to do. It's open-ended with a maybe thrown in at the end. No. The pro ends with a confident recommendation on what kind of partnership they envision. This gives the influencer an idea of how much work this partnership will be so they can more easily respond to the next steps. Speaking the language of influencers and knowing the formats is crucial to keeping the conversation going. But too often, beginner marketers don't know the space and rely on the influencer to give recommendations, or they just default to the simplest execution, usually a sponsored post. But choosing the right format goes hand in hand with achieving your goals, which is why pro marketers come to influencer partnerships with a solid grasp of what they want to do and why. In a sponsored post, I pay an influencer to showcase my latest line of spatulas in a dedicated post or series of posts. It's a great way to get your product seen, but the content can feel advertising, lacking authenticity, meaning that influencers' audience may not trust that their fave cooking influencer is actually using this product. Another way are product reviews. These are much better at conversion, especially when the influencer is seen as an expert in the space. Look at me in the chef's apron. I know spatulas, and this is the best I've ever used. Just look at how it scoops up this flaky fish. Flawless. As long as the audience perceives the content as true to the influencer's actual feelings, it can increase conversion. But if you want to be even more subtle, there's organic integrations. Think of an influencer like me, regularly cooking up recipes my audience loves. They want to cook like me, which is why they're not just studying the recipe, they're looking at the tools I use. And I just so happen to always have this trusty spatula in every video. I don't need to review it, even mention it. I just always have it. If I use it enough, people may seek it out. Too subtle for you? Okay, then you may want to consider a giveaway in which the influencer hosts some kind of promotion or contest that encourages people to participate. This is another great way to expand a brand's reach and generate interest in our spatulas, or whatever your product is. But the most surefire way to increase purchases is affiliate marketing. This is when the influencer drives their audience to purchase a product by offering a unique discount code. There are even more formats, so before you begin any outreach, think about what'll be the best way to realize your goals. As you can see, influencer partnerships can be complex, which is why having a contract in place is a necessity. Too many marketers rely on emails or verbal agreements, but this approach always misses certain details that could end up being a problem later on. That's why the pros draw up standardized agreements with every influencer, ensuring every aspect of the partnership is crystal clear. Here are some points you'll want to consider adding to your influencer agreement. Okay. You've got your ideal influencer and the paperwork is signed, but you still need to actually make content together. I see collaborations fall within two extremes, and beginners tend to be one of these extremes. On one end, the marketer comes with a concept, script, the whole package ready to go. There's no wiggle room for the influencer to do their thing, and the influencer's audience immediately recognizes that content isn't coming from the person they follow. Keeping the content authentic to the influencer is it's so important if you want to keep their audience engaged. In the other extreme, the marketer provides zero direction and fully trusts the influencer to figure out the promotion. Influencers know their craft, not your product. And so without any direction, the content is less likely to achieve your marketing goals. The pros set up partnerships in a way that gives the influencer freedom to do what they do best while also supporting them with the knowledge they have of their brand. It's a balance between the extremes, not giving 100% control to the influencer, but instead providing talking points, even brand assets to show the product in the best possible light. And working in this way sets up the relationship for long-term success, which is something that beginner marketers aren't thinking about. Too often, they make a big investment in a one-off deal. Remember how much work it was to find this perfect influencer? The pros do, and that's why they invest in cultivating the relationship over multiple collaborations. This is especially helpful for measuring success. It helps both the brand and the influencer figure out what works and what's not working. Which brings me to my next point. Measuring the success of influencer partnerships. There are all kinds of different data metrics, from website traffic to sales to views to how many followers you bring over to your brand to increase your own followers. So what should you be measuring? The biggest mistake beginners make is choosing a KPI that doesn't match up with their business goal. Getting lots of views is great, but if your goal is to increase sales, those views don't matter if the audience never makes their way to your website. The pros know what KPIs to track for the goals they've set. More importantly, they set up attribution models to ensure the metrics they're tracking can be tied back to the influencer's content. Imagine an influencer campaign launches over the holiday season, and there's an uptick in sales. A beginner is eager to assume that the influencer work drove sales. Good data equals good work, right? The pros, they're skeptical. It could have been the influencer, but the sales may also be coming from expanded distribution, another campaign, word of mouth, the fact that it's the holiday season. The only way to be certain is to set up an organized attribution model. This means unique links, discount codes, even landing pages tied to that influencer. There are also a number of tools, from Google Analytics to Amazon Attribution to HubSpot, that help marketers track the impact of an influencer's efforts alongside their customer journey. All right, that's a wrap on getting your influencer partnerships to the next level. We've seen that the pros don't just chase follower counts, they strategically partner with micro-influencers who offer stronger engagement and a better brand fit. They're also intentional about their outreach, crafting personalized messages and setting up clear contracts to protect both sides. When it comes to content, the secret is a true collaboration, a balance between giving influencers creative freedom while also providing them the product knowledge that you have and know. And finally, the best marketers don't just hope for success. They meticulously track their results using attribution models to confidently connect an influencer's content to their marketing accomplishments. This clarity helps them prove their investments are paying off and build strong, long-term relationships with their chosen creators. If you're craving more insights on influencer marketing, remember to check out HubSpot's Ultimate Guide to Influencer Marketing. It's a growing space with lots to learn, and HubSpot has put together everything from key terms to why authenticity matters to help you find success. I hope this video gave you a solid foundation to build from, and I'd love to hear in the comments what you found most helpful. Thanks.